Bogart versus Kung Fu Roo.
Round one. Fight! Round one. Fight!
Bogart versus Richard Meyer.
Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight!
Bonus area. Ready, go! Andy Bogart versus Duck King.
Round one. Fight! Round two.
Andy Bogart versus Michael Max.
Round one. Fight!
area. Ready, go! Andy Bogart versus Hua Jai.
Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight!
Andy Bogart versus Raiden.
Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight!
Bonus area. Ready, go! Andy Bogart versus Billy Kahn.
Round one. Fight!
Andy Bogard versus Terry Bogard.
Round one.